Welcome back, everybody. I hope you had a delightful time with our show. But right now, it's time for the post show. I'm here with Layla, and as usual, I'm Eduardo. And Layla, let's break down, well, the scenes we just watched.
Absolutely. So we got some stuff with the Johansson sisters, right? Britt is again putting down her boundaries. She's on her healing journey. She's suggesting a bit of a healing ritual, which I'm pro. You know, I come from I wouldn't say a superstitious family. You know, we have our little things that we do for like New Year's and stuff. I get that. I like it. It's a nice clean reset. We got some marital drama between Rachel and Eric, right? Continued. And then we got Eric learning a little bit more about the merging ritual. Did you catch? We got a little insight into Xavier, because apparently he likes to be satyr usually, and he's given up that spot for Eric, which I think dovetails very nicely with my personal theory, which is that he's a messy bee who loves drama.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, he clearly is. It's just a question of, he kind of wants, that means he trusts Eric, right? If you're giving that role to somebody, it's probably because of that trust. And again, Eric, one of the key things is Eric did save Xavier from being a catatonic state, a really traumatic one. So that trust does make sense. But, speaking of the trust, the trust between the sisters, between Britt and Astrid, that scene, where Britt had to kind of confront her own demons. And then, she's like in the aftermath, but then after Astrid reassures her, Britt starts helping Astrid, and that was really touching. And we talk about that sometimes, that relationship between the sisters is where the audience is torn, wanting to understand Britt was often the damnation option, but it was often the one picked because they really wanted, I think, to see that. So, but that last thing, right? The video that premiered today is where Eric and Rachel must decide if their marriage can continue forward as they unpack the decisions they've made over the last week, right? Where Rachel leaving the foundation, taking that eye, as these things happen. I mean, Eric's got no more, he's not holding his punches anymore.
No, and I gotta say, points were made. You know what I mean? Like he's got a bunch of years of resentment and of being kind of pushed down and pushed aside to draw from in order, to fuel this flame. And I simply cannot say I blame him. Rachel has she's a powerful lady, but she's made her choices, and this is the when you make choices, there's consequences, and these are the consequences.
Yeah, and somebody in chat during the scene was mentioning gaslighting, right? Like, I'm not 100% sure if it's the case, but certainly she's giving that culpability to Eric. That's no question for sure.
No. I'm a fan of divorce. I think I can very confidently say that as a child of divorce. I'm pro. So for faith's sake, I can't say I'm mad at this. It's always painful when it falls apart, but sometimes it's for the best.
Yeah, that's the thing. So one of the things is there's a decision that opened today, Layla. So actually, I'm going to move us ahead here. I'm going to ask production to put that up on your screen, the decision that opened today, because it's all to do with this. What will Rachel tell Eric she wants for their marriage? Sorry, I took your spot, Layla. You're the one who's up as usual to inform our audience. Sorry.
Well, it's all good. I suppose I'll forgive you this time. But again, what will Rachel tell Eric what she wants for their marriage? This is a fate decision. So A, separate cordially is the redemption path. B, let's be a family, the suffering path. Or C, you can't leave me is the damnation path. Again, even these choices are kind of pro-divorce. Right?
Yeah, honestly, I think the suffering option is extremely on the nose, right? Let's be a family. Suffering. That feels very on point.
It is, man. Sometimes, I don't know about you, but I've seen a lot of people get married that should not be married. It feels like maybe this was one of those, like maybe there were already people at the ceremony betting on when the divorce was going to happen. So maybe someone in their friend circle is about to walk away with a payday, and that's all I can hope for.
Yeah, that's fair enough, right? It's important. Supposing they're still alive, given steel mill foundation. But the big thing here is, while they're arguing, right? In the meantime of that argument, Eric's kind of gonna have to soon decide, okay, what am I doing with this merging ceremony that's coming up? Divorce is coming later. First, I gotta figure out this merging business. And Faith, it's they mention her and they're whatever, let's move on. It's just like, well, the thing is, right? Rachel's trying to deal with Faith quotation marks. Like that's not an easy thing to deal with, right? Because those were not easy scenes where she wakes up in bed and Faith has like a knife to her throat. Not great at all.
Would you rather see a little girl with a knife to your throat or the Hat Man as your sleep paralysis demon?
Let's take the Hat Man. The children of the night. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm Team Hat Man.
Yeah.
But you're right, they're not easy scenes, and especially, I'm saying abstractly, a little girl with a knife, that's Rachel's kid, right? If there's anybody who you should feel safe with, it's your child. And certainly Faith was not providing that sense of safety. Though neither was Rachel for Eric as the mysterious voice behind that door. We got a lot. This family just does not trust each other, and you're really seeing it come out in the wash, rather.
Very much so. So you talked about that scene with Rachel behind the door. Now we're going to put up on screen the story so far in Pennsylvania. If you were here in the pre-show, that's the same, but we're going to go through it. Layla's going to do the pleasure for you, the audience, of reading through that. But Layla, after we're done with that, I do want to talk about Rachel behind the door, because that was Rachel ?
That was Rachel. So Faith behaves particularly creepily. Rachel and Eric's marital issues are coming to a head, and Xavier still wants Eric to partake in the Morgie with Krista, but Eric is unsure. And again, if you weren't here earlier, Morgie being in the content is Noah's signature, but also, Noah, my love, we're all ESL here, particularly creepily.
Oh, sorry, that was me. Sorry, she put particularly. She was like creepy, and I was just like, I kind of wanted it to be a little more alliterative, I guess.
No,
so that's mine.
That's fine, but you got to remember, English is not my first language.
Nor is it mine. But nor is it anybody's here. But apart from that, I think the word exists. I did check it. Now that said. Speaking of creepily, like Rachel behind the door, I do want to talk about this because we didn't put it in one of our scenes and it kind of got glanced over. But Eric contending with Rachel behind, open the door, Eric. It gave you that parallel of it was the same door where Rachel opened for quote Faith, right?
Yeah, it's the voluntary letting in, right? Which if you've dealt with I feel like a lot of people I know who deal with kind of heavy issues or things they don't want to necessarily confront, they'll keep it out, right? So it is interesting that Eric, I could see more opening that door voluntarily and kind of like letting the nasty in, but Rachel does not seem like a person who likes to confront her issues. So it's very interesting. That's a great parallel. Good catch on that.
Yeah, no, I think it's the same door, except Eric got a bit less of the red and the, creepy part out of that. But still, he's like, no, you can't come in. No good. Door's closed. See ya. And then, Rachel, ? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Talking about the merging ceremony and what's been going on there. And by the way, for you, the audience, I am checking that decision that's going to close tomorrow on the merging ceremony. We will definitely talk about that before the end of our post show. So that's going to, Layla and me will definitely break that down. No problem. It's just that right now, the thing is, Norway is also a place we should talk about first, because we've had our big scene with Carl that kind of got closed down. So the thing is, you're going to see the same information we gave you in the post show in terms of like the story so far in Norway, but we want to kind of get everybody on the same page and put the scene we just saw with Britt and Astrid in that context. So that's going to be up on your screen. Layla's going to read through it, and then let's go through it, right? Because there's that what Britt mentioned, right? That ceremony. There's a lot of important details there.
There are. All right. So in Norway, Carl met his final fate, and the truth about Ava was revealed. Britt struggles with her addiction, and Orson is still at large. And again, I pointed out that I find at large a very great phrasing because it does sound like he's committing crimes out there. And as you pointed out, he is a biter. So
yeah, he's living at large. Like probably, I mean, like there was fog involved in Orson's disappearance. There was some fog involved with that ball with Britt. Yeah, it's just a question of what, like, essentially, it's kind of like, again, I don't know 100% what's going to come up. So it's kind of how this sequence is going to occur. I think as an audience is where things get interesting, right? You can kind of tell where things might lead, even with like face value, the scenes you've seen, you can kind of guess where things are. So, and again, this you can do with reasonable takes, but like what the actual events that are going to occur are going to matter a lot, right? Like how Britt deals with her addiction is important. How that ceremony, essentially, that Britt recommended to Astrid, how that happened is important. That's actually also one of the decisions. We're not going to highlight it, but just so you know, that's like a binary one where Astrid, for the goodbye ceremony, can either burn Orson's doll or save Orson's doll. She can kind of like go, because Orson's doll was actually one of the more contentious audience decisions back then. So whoever you, the audience, decide, you know what, let's save it or let's burn it, up to you. Like that's a question.
Yeah, that's back from those days. I think we talked about it a little bit on Friday, but when the audience was spending influence points much more freely, and now we're seeing some conservative behavior and some coordination on certain scenes, right? Like even just today, we're seeing in chat that folks are just like getting ready to spend on that Morgie choice, and I get it.
Yeah, you're saving up for the Morgie. Like I agree, that's important. It's important to bank away for. I was going to find a pun with that to replace rainy day, but I'll just have to let you innuendo that up to your mind. So
yeah, chat can handle that.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm sure. What did I just invite again? Oh, anyways, we're annoying. That's the important part. We're not there. We're in a foggy, damp place that is dark and cold. Now, the important part here is I actually like the redemption choice. We're going to have the decisions that the audience made on screen come up. That you've made as an audience recently come up. A lot of those are redemption choice, but that is one redemption choice I do actually like a lot. As somebody mentioned, Britt dealing with her addiction is very different to some of the other redemption choices that were a lot closer. So actually, we're going to put that up on screen. So production is going to put up on the screen the decisions that you as an audience have made so far. You're going to notice they're all redemption, but they're not the same story. So Layla, if you could walk us through that, we'll break it all down for you.
Absolutely. So one of our decisions was with will Eric sleep with Krista? No, and that won over refusing Xavier's orders was the winning choice. That was the redemption choice. He did not. And that was a very exciting night where we saw that very special scene where he did. Then how will Carl handle Ava's plan to save the town? You all chose defend her from the monsters, again, the redemption choice. And then what will Rachel do with Faith? Once again, weirdly, the redemption choice was leave her behind. But again, that was...
I mean, that's kind of a hint, right? Leaving her behind being the redemption coin is kind of a hint as to what Faith quotation marks might be. Because leaving your child to contend with the, I mean, I guess you left your child in the care of, like, some lovely dogs, Snarler.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just, dogs famously reliable, man's best friend.
Yeah, I mean, all kids want pets, right? So,
yeah.
Okay, fair enough. That's why it's the redemption choice, right? You leave her with the pets. But that's fair.
Yeah, why not? But truly it is, once again, on this discussion theme we have of, like, letting things in, having Rachel admit to herself that in some way, in some instinctual way, that this is not her kid, is big for a woman who doesn't seem to let anything in, right?
No, absolutely. And that's the thing is to be fair, she woke up with a few hints like what was it? I wanted to cut the bad dreams away. Like it's just like
it was
some hints were dropped.
Yeah, she said I thought I saw you having bad dreams and I started to wonder what you would look like without your eyes. I might be stitching two scenes together.
It's all good. It's all good. Just oh no, yeah. That scene, the most recent one where she abandons her, right? It's like I wonder what you look like without an eye. It's just like okay.
It's like all right. Listen, kids are say the darndest things, but that one might be a little too darndest. You know what I mean? Yeah. That might be crossing a threshold of darn that I'm not comfortable with.
But I wanted to come back to the difference here, right? Because when the decision with Britt came with redemption, that was really strongly redemption. It was clearly in that path. That's what you as an audience choice. The one, for example, the one where between Carl and Handel Eva's plan, that was actually kind of funny because what happened there is that decision was actually between redemption and damnation. So that, again, defend her from the monsters or encourage her. So one of the things you as an audience have started noticing is I could like rally the worst option because it's long and it blocks other options that are happening. Except you messed up because a bunch of you all put influence points in the suffering option. And that's almost what happened. It was almost Carl stopping Eva and massively changing Carl's final fate. So don't play with fire, adults and kids. I do mean adults. Adults are much more dangerous with fire than kids. So be careful. about what you do and how you do it. But again, that was a lot closer. And that decision, obviously, with Eric sleeping with Krista, one of our contentious one, extremely close until the last minute. There was like a redemption alley that came right back to kind of take it. So now, one of the things that is actually super close right now is our ongoing decision. We're going to throw up that on screen. Layla, if you can read through, I'm going to look at live looking into that.
Yes, yes, Captain. So our current ongoing decision is how will Eric respond to Xavier's invitation? To the Morgie, obviously. This is a fate decision, so for the redemption path, it's stop Krista from participating. The suffering path is to watch, or the damnation path is to offer himself as the satyr. And again, that one's up to you, Eduardo. What are the numbers at?
So, by the way, watch is my favorite option by far. It's one word and it's just perfect. There's not that many options that are just one word, and that one is perfection as far as I'm concerned. One of the nice parts about this, by the way, audience, is all of these choices start with a 3. So it's 35, 31, 34. So it's super close. And you got a day. So any of these could actually get there. If a group of you decide to coordinate and get it through the finish line, we might get it done. So again, stop Krista from participating is winning, but by very little. Redemption. Then you have watch that has the current rally, but that's going to end in just 5 seconds. And then damnation, where offer himself as the savior. Honestly, I mean, okay, so like it depends how you like the character of Eric, right? Like, so for me, if you pick the redemption option where you stop Krista from participating, there's a lot of this behind. We care about Eric, we care about what happens to these characters, and we empathize. I'm pretty sure the other 2 options are going to be more entertaining.
I think Eric is an interesting phenomenon because I feel like there is a, so to speak, a silent majority of our audience that is like coordinating to keep him pure-ish, I guess.
Yeah, they're fans of Eric. They're like, we want to see our boy. We want that Carl is redeemed. We want that Eric is redeemed tag at the end. They see the North Star now.
They do. And then the funny part is that our chat is very vocal. Watch is getting quite a bit of noise or to participate, so it's very interesting because I feel like just looking at the chat, you and I and Noah and the rest of the hosted show team are often like, oh, surely the sex option will win, and then we're like watching these options go back and forth neck and neck for like an hour before the show, and last time redemption won, but I'm team watch also. I do think it's funny. So like
it's kind of like I don't know what to do, so I'm just gonna open the door and kind of stay in the corner and watch. It kind of reminds me, of like the character drinking They Don't Know that I fill in the blank.
I mean, if I was invited to a cult orgy, I feel like that's what I would do because I don't want to participate, but I am nosy.
That's fair. Yeah, like it's just kind of like how about you're like you come in, you're like, look, I don't want to take part, but I need some education, so I'm just gonna hang around on the side, just learn what's up. It's like kind of shadowing. It's an important part of training. Is you see people who are more experienced than you. You learn from it. You discover things, and that's how you inform future decisions. It's just that in this specific case, training might just be funny for us. I don't know what the future opportunities look like.
Yeah. Again, I think it depends on their survival, to your earlier point. We had Johnny Zombie Boy in the chat said, could Eric watch through a peephole? I think having seen the bonus scene of Eric and Krista going to town, that portrait of Paul Radcliffe did seem like it could have some peep and Tom eyes, like
maybe the eyes are cut out and somebody just goes into it. Yeah, it's perfect. Somebody was like, Eric bringing the popcorn, that'd be like great, and just open the door. Xavier's like, are you ready? And then he just sees the bag of popcorn. He's like, oh, okay, fine, I get what's going on.
Popcorn would be my orgy observation snack, but yeah.
What would it be? Like, what's your Layla, you thought about this clearly. What's your preferred Morgie snack and drink of choice here?
Okay, so you want something quiet that's not distracting, so I'm not doing anything with crunch. Personally speaking, if I'm gonna scandalize myself and if I'm gonna go be a watcher, I'm thinking like I won't say the brand name, but cherry flavored candy straws.
Oh, okay.
You know, I'm feeling like those are going to be pretty chill, or like gummy worms, gummy bears. We love a peach ring in this house, something like that.
All right, I like chocolate. There's some water, some chocolate, or no, hot cocoa and chocolate. That's great. You get to sit, relax, let the action unfold, literally. Anyways, merging, that's the thing. That's going to be tomorrow. So again, you know, because the thing is, we're not going to actually be live with you, the audience, tomorrow to watch it. So, but you can be here, right? And we're going to like kind of follow you as a result on the Wednesday. So that's the thing. We're kind of reaching the end of our show, Layla. I mean, you know, it's all fun and merging. No, it's just all fun and merging. Honestly, I'm not gonna like go further. It's perfect. Yeah.
Wait, you were so close to the lowest possible hanging fruit. It's all fog and merging.
Oh, fuck it. That's the problem. I didn't rest enough this weekend. My pun game isn't quite on track. But what's great is you, the audience, are having a great pun game. I've been watching some of you in the chat, like coming up with all sorts of creative takes. Awesome. We love that you're here. We love that you're like bringing that energy. And if, by the way, if you're not like typing in chat and you're just watching at home and enjoying stuff and listening, totally fine. It's for everybody. Like, we know that you that are typing, we love you. We love seeing you come back in day, you know, each day, like kind of part of the community. But we don't want to forget you at home as well, who's just listening in, seeing the action, and hopefully enjoying the scenes. We love you nonetheless. It's great to have you on board with us, following the story. But here's the thing. Tomorrow, another day, another show. So, as a result, a lot of scenes here. The big thing is that relationship for me between Britt and Astrid, really key. In the coming week, right, that decision is going to take a full week to resolve. So, I mean, we're talking next Monday between what that marriage between Eric and Rachel's going to look like, but obviously the merging is tomorrow. In the meantime, you can be in the puzzles because that's going to be quite the decision battle. So you want to get those influence points. The puzzles are available for you right after the show. I'm going to put the graphic up on screen for the next show. Layla, if you could walk us through what our audience can do if they want to kind of catch up on the action that's upcoming.
Yeah, absolutely. So, if you don't know, now you know. We are here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for the pre and post shows at 5:40 p.m. Pacific. That is a rotation of me, Eduardo, and our lovely Noah. And then it's 6 o'clock every single weekday, so Monday through Friday. That is Ascension, the show. And then you can come right back for the post show, depending on how long the scenes are and depending on how long the endure takes that day. You know, within like that. The 8 to 15 minute mark, usually we're back on your screens, so don't miss us too much. But yeah, that's our show, and yeah, as Eduardo said, enjoy the puzzles, and we'll be right back here before you know it on Wednesday to break down that Morgy.
Do you know what Wednesday is, Layla?
It's Valentine's Day.
It is. So that'll be a little bit of an enjoyable experience because you'll be with Noah, and I won't be on their screen, but I'll definitely be in the back enjoying and watching. So anyways, on that note,
okay.
That's oh, you want to catch up on that before I close it? I am. We're going to close it on that. Have a delightful time, all of you, the audience. You remember, you can always catch up. If tomorrow you're unavailable, don't worry. The scenes are catch up so that by the time you come up back with us on Wednesday, 5:40 p.m. Pacific, you're up to speed and you have a wonderful time in Layla and Noah's company. They are delightful. They are truly a delight to work with. So that said, thank you so much for watching tonight. It was great being with you. So remember, rain, shine, or fog, wherever you're around the world, whatever time it is, we hope you had a delightful, delightful time with us. But it's time to say bye. Have a great